as well as other charges. Gray's death while in police custody in April sparked nationwide protests and accusations of police brutality. Officer Nero was the first of 6 officers to stand trial. Now, following this case is our reporter Miguel Marquez, who's live outside the courthouse. Miguel, bring us up to scratch. What's the latest?
Just a tiny clarification. This is a huge verdict by this judge, by the way. Tiny clarification on this. He was the second to stand trial. The first officer who stood trial, that trial ended in a hung jury. The lawyers for this officer decided to go with what they call a bench trial. So there was no jury. It was the judge himself, an African-American judge, very experienced, Barry Williams, who heard testimony in this. There were 4 separate charges. One of assault. The prosecution saying that Officer Nero was guilty of assault because when Mr. Gray was arrested, that arrest itself constituted assault, that he was wrongly arrested, essentially. The judge not agreeing, saying that Mr. Nero or Officer Nero wasn't even there for the arrest. It was another officer, Officer Miller, who actually arrested and cuffed Mr. Gray, and the only thing that Mr. Nero had to do at that point was to walk Mr. Gray from the sidewalk to the van. That famous video that we've seen that was shot of Mr. Gray's arrest, Edward Nero is seen in a piece of that video walking Freddie Gray to the van. On the second charge of misconduct in office, the judge saying simply, look, if he didn't conduct the arrest, then there is no misconduct, because that's what that second charge rested on. The third charge had to do with reckless endangerment, and this is about that seat belt on Mr. Gray should have been Officer Nero's responsibility. At the second stop of the van, there were 5 stops that day. On the second stop of that van, the Officer Nero helped put leg shackles on Mr. Gray and then slide him into the van. The prosecution saying that at that point, Officer Nero should have either put Mr. Gray in a seatbelt or told somebody to put him in a seatbelt. The prosecution, the defense saying that just didn't happen. The judge agreeing with the defense, saying it just wasn't a crime. Linda.
Miguel Marquez staying across it there for us outside the courthouse in Baltimore. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back.
All new Inside Africa, unlocking the mysteries behind the continent